why you no longer enjoy being around people like you once did, and why that's okay. An honest reflection on the quiet changes that come with age. Have you ever caught yourself wondering, why don't I enjoy being around people the way I used to? If that question stirred something inside you, take a deep breath. You're not alone. In fact, you may be part of a quiet, growing group of people in their 60s, 70s, and beyond who found themselves stepping away from the crowds, from old routines, from once cherished social circles. Not out of anger, not out of coldness or bitterness, but because something within you has shifted. And that shift, as subtle as it may feel, isn't a sign of weakness. More often than not, it's a reflection of wisdom. A sign that you've started choosing peace over noise, depth over obligation, and authenticity over appearance. In this video, we'll explore 6 deeply personal, often unspoken reasons why many older adults begin to distance themselves socially. Not because they don't care anymore, but because they care differently. These reasons aren't surface-level guesses. They're rooted in real human experience, in conversations I've had with people who've lived long enough to see life in all its honesty. Some of what you hear may surprise you. Some may feel like they were pulled straight from your own heart. But no matter where you are in this journey, by the end of this video, I hope you'll feel seen, understood, and maybe even a little lighter. Let's begin. 1. The weight of old wounds. As we grow older, we collect more than wisdom. We collect memories, both beautiful and bruising. We remember the friends who drifted away, the people who didn't show up when it mattered, the betrayals we never saw coming. Not all wounds come from big battles. Sometimes it's the slow erosion of trust over time, friends who stop calling, family who forget birthdays, or conversations where your vulnerability was met with silence. Take Mrs. Chloe, 81 years old. For decades, her home was the heart of her neighborhood, Sunday dinners, birthday parties, laughter echoing in every room. But over time, those seats at her table began to empty. A close friend betrayed her confidence. Another disappeared after her husband died. It wasn't dramatic, just gradual, quiet, painful. Now, Chloe chooses solitude not because she dislikes people, but because she's learned to cherish peace more than performance. Her silence isn't a wall, it's a boundary. A protective layer forged not from bitterness, but from self-respect. And maybe you've felt that too. That sense that you've given so much, and now, you want to give to yourself. 2. You crave peace, not just company. Remember when you were younger, how you could sit through hours of small talk, nodding along at conversations that didn't mean much? Maybe it was part of your job, your social life, your obligations. But now, your threshold for that kind of noise is much, much lower. That doesn't make you antisocial, it makes you aware. Take Henry, a 76-year-old retired salesman. He was once the life of the party, quick with a joke, always ready with a handshake. But now, he often skips large gatherings. Not because he's tired of people, but because he's tired of talking without meaning. I'm done talking just to fill the air, he says. And perhaps you feel that too. It's not about isolation. It's about intention. You've earned the right to be selective with your time, your energy, your attention. And if that means spending an evening with a good book, a warm drink, and your own thoughts, that's not loneliness. That's freedom. 3. People don't understand you like they once did. There's a quiet kind of loneliness that doesn't come from being alone. It comes from feeling unseen. As the world moves faster and younger generations speak a language of trends and tech, you may find yourself sitting in a room full of people and still feeling miles away. Ella, 79, a retired teacher and mother of 5, used to be the storyteller in her family. Her stories were rich, layered, full of lessons and love. But these days, her grandkids nod politely while scrolling their phones. Conversations are shorter, shallower, and somewhere in that shift, a piece of her feels invisible. You're not imagining it. Emotional invalidation, when your feelings or experiences are dismissed, is real. And it's exhausting. So you retreat, not out of defeat, but out of preservation. Because when your words don't land, when your stories go unheard, you begin to protect them. You begin to protect yourself. 4. You don't want to be a burden. There's a fear that creeps in with age, not just the fear of illness or decline, but of being too much for those we love. You don't want to interrupt. You don't want to ask for help. And even when someone offers, you hesitate. You think, they have their own lives, their own stresses. I don't want to add to that. This is something Herbert, 84, knows well. Once a fixture in his daughter's home, he began turning down weekend visits. Not because he didn't want to go, but because he didn't want to be in the way. They've got careers and kids, he said. They don't need me slowing them down. But here's the truth. Love isn't measured by convenience. And you are not a burden. Still, it's hard. The stronger you've been all your life, the harder it can be to lean, to ask, to receive. So you stay quiet, even when you're aching to connect. 5. Friendships fade without a fight. Sometimes relationships don't end with a loud bang. They end with a whisper, a missed call, a change in routine. 1 month becomes 3, becomes a year, and suddenly, what once was easy now feels forced. Victoria, 73, knows this all too well. Her weekly walks with her high school best friend slowly became monthly, then occasional, then gone. No anger, no falling out, just time doing what time does best. It moves forward. This kind of quiet grief is often overlooked, but it's real. You mourn not just the person, but the version of yourself you were with them. And yet sometimes that fading is okay, necessary even, because as you grow, your needs change. And instead of chasing connection for the sake of nostalgia, you start choosing peace, space, stillness. 6. You've learned the beauty of your own company. There is a certain kind of joy that only solitude can offer. And once you've found it, there's no going back. James, 82, used to host every party in the neighborhood. These days, he finds more satisfaction watching birds from his porch than entertaining a crowd. When asked if he feels lonely, he laughs and says, "Nope. I've got 82 years of memories to keep me company." That's not sadness. That's richness. At some point, you realize your own presence is enough. You no longer feel the need to impress, to explain, or to prove yourself. You've spent a lifetime showing up for others. Now you're showing up for yourself. And that, perhaps, is the greatest freedom of all. Final thoughts. So if you've been pulling back from people lately, if silence feels more nourishing than company, if your circle has grown smaller, but your peace has grown bigger, know this. You're not fading. You're evolving. You're not bitter. You're discerning. You're not broken. You're wise. Choosing solitude doesn't mean you've given up on people. It means you've chosen yourself. And that kind of self-honoring is not just valid, it's beautiful. If any of this resonated with you, I invite you to share which part felt most true. And if you'd like more reflections like this, consider subscribing and turning on notifications so you don't miss out. You've lived through so much. You've earned this peace. Now let yourself enjoy it.